Hey, True Believers, England here with news. It's not really news. I knew this was coming. This is actually a little bit old, and I wanted to talk about it since there's now been 2 episodes of Batwoman out, and this is something I was actually looking forward to. Like I usually say, I've got great hope. High hopes and low expectations. That's what I usually say about these things. The more I saw about Batwoman, the less I wanted to see it, the less those hopes carried me through. This one's titled, Batwoman is the latest victim of toxic fan culture, and here's what needs to change. Gee, I wonder, are you talking about them or the people who didn't like it? And it goes on basically to talk about, the fellow Arrowverse heroes. Batwoman will face plenty of hardships in the coming week as the first season of her show unfolds. After all, that's pretty much in the job description, especially when you fight crime in Gotham. Unfortunately, we're only 1 episode into Kate Kane's first solo venture on screen, and it seems like the odds are already stacked against her, at least if the negative scores online are anything to go by. So it talks about the Rotten Tomatoes, which I do not use, by the way. The only time I ever talk about Rotten Tomatoes is when I'm talking about something like this. So it says that it had a fresh rating of 72% in critical consensus, but it was 10% with audiences, many of whom seem to have deliberately review-bombed the show in an attempt to drag the score down. Now, once again, in my the last time I talked about Batwoman and I talked about an interview, I told you they're setting it up already so they could say that it's all hatred, vile, it's not real. They're saying nobody really watched the show. It's review bombed. Like people, actually I was about to say like people do that. But yeah, actually people do that kind of thing. But seriously, the show's not good. It's not a good show. And in my opinion, the main reason why is they cast it poorly. I thought she was okay in the crossover, but she is a one-note pony. I was hoping in the second episode she would finally get her stride. Hopefully in the third, but I'm not. I don't think so. I think she's going to play this one note all the way through. There's just no depth to the character, and she's not bringing any depth. And the script doesn't call for it. So Ruby Rose is not a strong enough actress to add anything that's not in the script. And that's how you know that a person's a great actress. But of course, no, they have to make up, they have to make a motivation up so they can argue it. It says, of course, some of the negative reviews are valid. Yeah, most of them I would bet. Not a lot of people are liking this show. After all, taste is subjective, and Batwoman isn't a mind-blowing show straight out of the gate. You're allowed to dislike it, but when a program scores dramatically worse than huge misfires like Netflix's Island, despite the critical evaluation being high, something's up. No, nobody had eyes on Island. Island showed up. Some people watched it, but Batwoman is a big freaking deal. And Batwoman takes an IP some people love, some people hate, and doesn't do anything good with it. So you're not comparing the same thing here. In fact, audiences tend to be kinder to shows than the critics who are paid to review them, unless that show happens to offend them because of feminist or LGBTQ content. See, once again, you're adding a motive. Now, here's the thing. I've seen a lot of stuff where it's like, it's okay to be, but wokeness isn't just being. If you're a lesbian, you're not woke. That's not what they're talking about when it comes down to this stuff. Anyway, it says, among the negative reviews after Ruby Rose gave an interview to Glamour that riled the trolls, lots of responses specifically called Batwoman out for pushing a feminist inquiry. No, she said this wasn't a movie for old white men. And guess what? First of all, guys are your major audience. And just because we're the majority of people and I'm an older white man, I'm a 50-year-old white man, we're the majority of the United States. So you're literally telling, and we're definitely a majority of comic book buyers, and you're telling your audience this isn't for you. So why are you getting upset when they agree with you? This isn't for me. Why? Because it's an incredibly woke story. Because instead of just being a strong woman, she's shouting it from the rooftops every freaking scene. You don't need that. Show some, If there was, she showed some vulnerability, then people could get on her side. People could show empathy. Let's see, you could tell a narrative is being pushed rather than a decent story being told, says another. Exactly, yes, the message is put before the story. He's absolutely right. Sadly, it doesn't take the world's greatest detective to see why Ruby Rose's character is being targeted like this. While the Arrowverse as the whole is always celebrated diversity, LGBTQ, whatever, gay themes were introduced into other shows gradually, whereas Batwoman is integral from the start. Once again, right away, they ignore everything that's said, and they just make everything up. Let's see. IMDb scores tell us a similar story. At the time of writing, 55.9% of the users have awarded Batwoman 1 star out of 5, creating a weighted average of 3.1 in comparison. Every other Arrowverse pilot to date had fared better. Every other Arrowverse pilot was better. It was just better. I've been watching Supergirl and Batwoman. I'm going to have another review up on Extreme Movie Show, so please check that out. The link should be in the description below, so you could go over there, subscribe, and make sure you ring that notification bell. But I've been watching them side by side because previously Supergirl was one of the most woke TV shows on the air. Last season, I even mentioned that with the way I think it made me a Supergirl villain. And it's incredible that Supergirl is actually dialed back on it just a touch. I mean, they're not. It's there, but it's not. It's, like I said, it's not that it exists. It's how it fares about it, how it talks about it. And Supergirl's kind of dialed it back. The characters are just the characters this season, and I guess Batwoman is taking up the slack. So Supergirl is looking so much better next to Batwoman. That's how bad this has gotten. That's how bad Batwoman has started off. And I'm somebody who really wanted to like this show. Let's see, although it's worth noting that those which star straight white male leads tend to fare best. Flash is a better show. Green Arrow is a better show. See, when they say that, they're not saying it because they're trying to say it's not quality. It's not the quality, it's the representation. That's what they're trying to say here, but it's not. It is literally the quality of the show. Green Arrow had a weak season, or maybe a weak season and a half when you went in like 3 and 4. But otherwise, it's been a very good show. The Flash, in my opinion, has been incredible, and it's one of the best representations of comic books on screen that you're going to find. Let's see, this isn't the first time that trolls have tried to sabotage female-led projects. Last year, Star Wars actress Kelly Marie Tran revealed the abuse she'd Yeah, I think that and I talked about that. I thought that was ridiculous. You know, dislike the character. Don't go after the actors and actresses. That's ridiculous. When Captain Marvel was bombarded with negative reviews before it had even been released and sent, no, there were no reviews. It was talking about Brie Larson being a dumb person to all of the people who would be potential fans. Let's see, to combat this, Rotten Tomatoes commendably disabled the comment feature on films prior to release. A few months later, they added another feature which forces users to prove they've bought a ticket before they could review. I actually agree with that. If you could prove that you bought a ticket, I think that should be the only ones that go to the audience score. So you don't get people who are just, well, I'm not watching that, I'm going to give it a 0. Because you know what? You're a douche. You're a douche as much as this guy is for saying that people aren't liking this because of the fact that she's gay. Oh, alrighty. So I think we're getting the gist of this. So far, these measures have been relatively successful. Let's see. Well, it's likely the score for Batwoman will rise once the trolls move on. Once again, the trolls, not the people who saw the show and didn't like it. We're trolls. God, shut up. Of course, it's easier said than done. Online forums will never be able to stamp out the presence of... Yeah, okay, so you get it. You get what's going on. I knew they were going to go this way. You knew they were going to go this way. It's no big surprise. It's two episodes in, and Batwoman is still not improved. And I'm somebody who wanted to like the show. I want the 3rd episode to blow me away. Seriously, I just want it to be the best TV show I've ever seen. I want it to be the best representation of any member of the Batman family ever. I don't expect it to happen. I expect me to go, you know what? That's it. I can't do this anymore. But I will, of course, keep watching it. Got to do the reviews. But that's just my opinion. What is yours? What do you think of Batwoman? What do you think about Batwoman compared to the other Arrowverse shows? Because I know some people out there just refuse to watch any of them. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to click like and share, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you haven't done it already, and make sure your notifications are on all. And if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Ko-Fi or to Patreon. Drop $1 in the tip jar. Or you can consign a video for us to do yourself. Just pick out the topic, pick out the subject, and we'll get that video out ASAP. I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.